Hey guys, welcome to the Adapt, Improvise, and Overcome episode of Blue Family Unity. I am your host, Elsa Kurt, and I'll explain. Give me a minute.
Coming together to share our lives, standing on the thin blue line, giving you some peace of mind. On the Blue Family Unity Show.
If you're part of the law enforcement family, this is your show. Here we talk about all things Leo family life, the good, the bad, the funny, and the sad, and everything in between.
On the Blue Family Unity Show.
Okay, friends, this is going to be interesting. I am out of the studio today, this whole week, actually. I am in sunny, beautiful, wonderful, free Florida. And I have no studio here. I'm on vacation, and I still want to bring an episode to you guys. So I figured, well, you know what? Let's be a little unconventional. Let's do things a little bit different. So what's going to happen today is you are going to hear and see, depending if you're listening or watching the show, you're going to hear and see life. You're probably going to hear dogs barking. There's 3 dogs inside, which means, and a baby, by the way. My granddaughter is inside. She's sleeping right now. So look at this. So there's going to be a lot of gaffes here. So hang tight. We're just going to roll with it and see what happens. But yeah, I'm in a location where there's no quiet place. It is early in the morning. I have bags under my eyes. I am tired. But I'm very, very happy. I'm in a wonderful mood. I have been spending the whole week, my whole vacation. I'm looking for lizards right now. I thought one just ran by me, which I'm fine with. I'm not afraid of them. I like them. But anyhow, I have spent my whole week so far with my daughter and granddaughter here in beautiful Florida, and it has been magical and wonderful. And yes, a little bit exhausting. The baby is she doesn't like the car, so she cries a lot, like aggressively in the car. So that's been a little bit rough. But listen, I don't care. I'll take it. She can. I don't mind. She can cry all she wants. Preferably not, but it's okay if she does. So anyhow, I thought we would, since everything is just a mess. Do you hear the bird sounds and everything? Since we're so out of sorts for this episode, I thought we would just kind of forego all of the usual things that we would be doing. We would be doing not in the news today. We would be doing pardon my preach. Maybe we can still do pardon my preach. I'm sure I have something that I could rant about. There's always something to rant about, but my goodness, it's so much nicer to not have to, right? We're never going to get away with that. You know what? I'll tell you what, because I'm just thinking of it now. I told you this is completely off the cuff, no script. I mean, not that I ever really do a script, but let's do a little pardon my preach. It's going to be a little bit random here, but let's do it.
It's time for Pardon My Preach.
Because I was just thinking about it as I was talking, because I can multitask like that. Amazing, right? I was just thinking about this whole Omicron thing and some of the stuff that our buddy, and I mean that very sarcastically, Joe Biden said ahead of the holiday, ahead of Christmas, which is that basically it's going to be a winter of death for non-boosted or unvaccinated or whatever the case is. If you are considered unvaccinated, which if you're not getting your boosters, apparently you are probably considered unvaccinated, right? So yes, for those who are unvaccinated or unboosted, it will be a winter of death for us and everyone we come in contact with. I was going to drop an F-bomb and I technically, I can't, I can bleep it out, but I'll forget to bleep it out. So that's bull crap. How about that? That's a nice way of saying it. How dare he? How dare he terrify people over what is essentially a common cold? A common freaking cold. What are the symptoms of the Omicron variant? Runny nose, scratchy throat, um, yeah, headache, right? I think that's one of the things. It's like a common cold. So, yeah, you want people to spend another holiday away from their loved ones for a common cold. Not going to happen, bud. Obviously, it didn't happen. People traveled, people did. A lot of flights were canceled. That was a little scary. I'm not going to lie. We're done with Pardon My Preach. I'm pissed off about that crap, but now we're moving on to my story. So we flew down to Florida on Christmas Eve, which I was nervous about because I was not nervous about flying because of the COVID or anything. I was nervous about flying out on Christmas Eve because of possibly missing our flight or our flight getting canceled. Uh, so, sorry, I had something in my mouth. Listen, off the cuff here. What are we going to do? So, everything was looking good. We got to the airport. Everything was fine. Our flight was for what time was our flight? 5 p.m. 5:10 to be exact. Our flight was for 5:10 p.m. Everything was looking good. Everything on time. We got there early because we were concerned about there being a mad rush and it being crazy at the airport. It was not. It was extremely quiet there, which was weird in itself, right? We were a little freaked out by that, but we also figured, oh, it's like a late flight. Most people took the early flights because Christmas Eve. And so we went and got something to eat, had a little cocktail, calm the nerves, everything's fine. I get a text, an alert text from the airline telling me that we have a delay. We have I think it was like a half-hour delay. And I was like, okay. I'm okay with that. Then I reread the message, the alert message, and it said the reason for our delay was because of crew issues. They were having trouble finding crew to man the plane. For the feminists in the crowd, to woman the plane. I don't care. Is any feminist actually watching my show? I doubt it. Or listening to it? I highly doubt it. So then what happened when I read that they were having some difficulties finding crew for the flight? Do you want to know what happened? I won't keep you in suspense. I started crying. I started crying like a big fat baby, like a big fat crybaby. I started crying, like not quite hysterically, but not terribly far off from that. Um, because the obvious, you've already figured out why. Because I was afraid that the flight was going to get canceled. Big deal, Elsa, you say, just catch the next flight. No, because all these other airlines were canceling flights. It was Christmas Eve. Lots of airlines were canceling flights because of crew issues. And I was finding this out like all in real time, like figuring out what was going on generally all around. So I'm starting to panic. This is my granddaughter's first Christmas. And I'm, and I know, before we go any further, I know this is not in comparison to what other people have going on and what other people have missed or lost. This is not the biggest deal in the world. I understand that. So reserve your contempt for my drama and just be sympathetic. Just be a human being and be sympathetic. And I know my listeners are, because we're all compassionate, kind people and not selfish prigs. Um, so anyhow, I'm falling apart. I am crying. I'm having like a really hard time getting under control. My poor husband is like just trying to be calm and not say too much, because I'm one of those people that when I escalate, like, don't try and calm me down. It's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. It only makes things worse. It will only make you mad and frustrated. And my husband understands this. He knows like the best way to cope with my meltdowns when I have them. Very rare, thank you. Is to just write it out and just be there. So that's what he did. Very, very smart man. God bless him. Love him. And so I'm freaking out. So I look at the weather. I'm already like, I'm freaking out, but I'm also a problem solver. So I'm looking for solutions. I'm like, okay, all right. So let's say we can't get out today. What does tomorrow look like? Tomorrow's Christmas Day. okay, I hate to fly on Christmas Day. That really sucks. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So I'm thinking, okay, let me book already before anything goes further. Even though we're still just on a delay, let me book a flight for first thing tomorrow morning, because I figured once the flight gets delayed, all these flights for tomorrow, the next day, are going to get booked up, right? So I look at the flights. I'm like, okay, we're good. We're fine. There's a flight for like 6 a.m., 6:10 a.m., Christmas Day morning, going out, direct flight. It was like really cheap. And I was like, okay, we're good. And then I don't know what made me do it, but then I was like, hang on, before I book the flight, let me just take a peek at the weather. Let me just see what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. Because where I was in Connecticut, it had snowed that morning into early day, I think it was. So that was stressful because I was afraid the flight was going to cancel for that, but it was fine. So long story long, I checked the weather, and the weather says that in our state, it was going to be freezing rain and sleet all day. So what did that mean? That meant that those flights had a high probability of getting canceled also. So now I'm at the point where I've completely escalated. I am crying. Again, I don't want to use the word hysterically or uncontrollably, but I would say those descriptions were probably not incredibly far off. Long story, even longer, everything was fine. Our flight did not get canceled. I did go up to the flight attendant at the gate check-in area there, and I asked her, and I tried to. I was like all the way up until the moment I got to her, I was like keeping my shit together, and I was not crying, ish. And as soon as I got to her, and as soon as I opened my mouth to ask her if the flight was canceled, they said, I promise that the flight is not going to be canceled. My grandchild just came out right now, and I want her, so you're all going to forgive me for that. Bring to me the baby. No, her. So I am at my. So you want to hear what gets even crazier? I am at my ex-husband's house. This is where we stay, and there's a puppy running at me. I mean, I told you this was going to get crazy. There's a puppy running at me. There's a big dog coming over to say hello. And there's my ex-husband holding the baby just out of my reach, knowing how badly I want to hold her right now. Hello, sunshine. Come here, come to oh, that was so rotten. I just got psyched out. Give to me the baby. Come on. Hi, Mama. No. Yeah. So that's what's happening right now. And and now the dog is pulling on the pillow that the camera is on. So this is going to be the best episode ever. I am kidding. It is probably going to go down as the worst. Oh yeah, and now they're just making lots of noise because it's my ex-husband. He thinks that's really funny to do that to me. Yeah, so this is going to be this week's episode of Blue Family Unity, a absolute shit show of a show. Yeah, so we're going to take a break right now, and we'll come back right after this break because I need to hold the baby. Hey, family, this is for those of you new to the law enforcement family or just looking for some relatable content. My book, Welcome to the Family, Life Behind the Thin Blue Line, is available on Amazon and through my website, elsakurt.com, and most major online retailers. This is a must-read survival guide for significant others new to the law enforcement family. When you become a police spouse or a significant other, you enter a world most can't imagine. The contrast can be jarring and often scary, especially in today's society. This book helps those new to the lifestyle navigate the myriad of challenges faced by LEO partners, but also shares the many joys of living life behind the thin blue line. Inside this book, you'll discover the ups, the downs, the normal and not so normal, coping strategies, tips for fostering strong and healthy relationships, and even the humorous side of law enforcement family life. So pick up your copy of my Amazon best-selling book, Welcome to the Family, Life Behind the Thin Blue Line, today. Okay, and we are back. Hi there. So I have a guest host right now who is hanging out with me for this part of the episode. I don't know how long it's going to last. So, and if she starts getting mad, we'll just go to commercial break. But this is what commercial break? There's no commercials. Sort of, there's commercials. Yeah, kind of. We'll call it a commercial break. But this is the greatest child on the planet, and her name is Raylin, and she is quite amazing. And buttons are getting pushed here, and so that's crazy. And she's bopping around. She just woke up. Say hi, everybody. Say hi. She sees her mommy. So yeah, so that was my big drama. And this was you're looking at the conclusion of all of that drama that I self-created in fear of missing out on this. And now, of course, seeing her, you can understand exactly why I lost my shit, right? Yes, I did just say that in front of my grandchild. So yeah, because she's staring at her mommy, just so you know, and that's her favorite sight. Look at how cute she is. Is she not the cutest thing ever? I'm so sorry if you're listening to the show and not watching it and you have no idea how beautiful this baby is, but you can just head right over to Right America Media and watch it over on YouTube, and you get to see this beautiful little sunshine. So I'm thinking what we're going to do. What we're going to do today is we are going to do, because it's like the end of the year in a couple of days, this crazy year is going to be over and we're going to move on to the next one. But the deal is we're going to move into it very quietly. We're not going to make a big fuss. We're not going to say 2022 is my year. Yay. Don't say those things. Don't say them because it's like a jinx. Okay. So we're just gonna walk in real stealth like and see how it goes. That's our plan, I think, right? Oh, she's tired. She shouldn't be tired. She just woke up. So yeah. So it's the end of the year, and we are going to do kind of just like a little year in review. And I pulled up a website. I'm not going to lie, it's not off the top of my head. There's no way. That's my hair she's pulling. And yeah, you're a hair puller. Yes, you are. Hi, pretty. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. It's not off the top of my head. I don't remember the year. Who can remember a whole year's worth of events? If you can, I'm really impressed with you. So we're gonna take a little pause, and we'll come right back with that.
Crime is exploding across America. Defunding the police is causing even more chaos and increased crime in communities we live, work, and raise our families. We need your support to refund the police. Your donations will go toward the development of a national media advertising blitz to rally Americans who are sick and tired of the attacks on law enforcement. So donate today and help refund the police.
Oh, here we are back. And it's just boring old me. No baby. The baby has gone with the mama. So we are going to go ahead and get into the year in review. And we're just literally going like month by month. And this comes from cbsnews.com, believe it or not. That's where I grabbed this off of. So let's start with the obvious. Let's go all the way back to January. Now, we all remember what happened in January, right? I mean, I'd struggle saying it every time, but the new president, Joe Biden, was inaugurated. That's exciting, right? That's been wonderful. That's been going fantastic, don't you think? Yeah, and there are people who actually think that, but I am not one of them. So yeah, Sleepy Creepy Joe was sworn in. That was in January, and then oh yes, the January 6th insurrection, the lamest insurrection in the history of all insurrections, with people propping their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk and taking selfies and walking through like they're on a White House tour. Yes, obviously there were some bad things that went on there and people doing really stupid shit. I still would never call that an insurrection, and anybody who does is delusional. But okay, definitely people who should have been jailed and had some consequences for their actions and behaviors. So nobody's denying or disagreeing with that. That is certainly a thing. Moving on. Let's see. I know what happened in February. In February, the United States formally rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, which Donald Trump had withdrawn us from because it was a bad deal for us. And but Biden thought this would be a great idea to get right back in it, and that's what he did. Let's see. In March, I don't remember this. Oh no, I do remember this. Container ship ran around the Suez, ran ran aground. Sorry, I can't read this morning. Ran aground in the Suez Canal in March, holding up billions in trade. Took 6 days to free that. That's what happened. Obviously, lots more things happen in each month, but we're just giving like a highlight, a low light. It depends on how you're looking at it, I guess. April was pretty unforgettable with the Derek Chauvin case. The whole from the start of that. What was that? I've lost track of dates and months and stuff. I feel like it was like August of the previous year that happened in. Obviously, I can be wrong. I'm often wrong, and I certainly could be then. But obviously, that was all going on much longer. This was just the guilty verdict coming in for Derek Chauvin in the George Floyd death, which resulted in a felon and a drug addict and an all-around loser being made into a martyr by celebrities and, of course, our woke politicians and of course BLM and all these people. He was their poster child. But never mind the children and innocent victims who died throughout the year and since then. Never mind them; they don't really matter because they didn't um, do drugs and hurt people, and their lives didn't matter. And this gets me fired up, right? We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on though. In May, what did May happen? Oh, Elon Musk's. Try that one. SpaceX was the first operational space flight by a private company. That's exciting. I apparently was oblivious of many things that were going on. Did I know that this happened? Yeah, I kind of knew. I just didn't pay that much attention. But it was a big deal for Elon Musk, who's been in the news a lot lately. And he's growing on me. This guy's growing on me. I didn't have any feelings about him before, but he's growing on me now. Let's see. In June saw the partial collapse of a 12. Oh, yes, I remember this very well. The partial collapse of a 12-story condominium in Surfside, Florida, killing 98 residents. As always with those things, there was a lot of conspiracies floating around with that. Do you remember that too? Everything gets a conspiracy theory nowadays, and but a lot of times they're true. So that's a little scary, isn't it? So I don't really discount conspiracy theories. I just acknowledge them and wait to see what happens. In July brought the 32nd Summer Olympic Games to Tokyo a year after being postponed. Oh, yeah, that was so confusing, right? When they kept saying the 2020 Olympics, but it was 2021. Very confusing for me. I don't know about you. I did not watch it, though. In August saw the withdrawal. Oh, yeah, August. August was the withdrawal of the American troops from Afghanistan, the disastrous withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, which took the lives of 13 service members. And because of, you can't even call it strategy. There was no strategy. Or worse, that was the strategy, and they knew full well what was going to happen, which is kind of hard to believe that they didn't have any understanding of what was going to happen if they withdrew abruptly. September saw the implement of the Texas Heartbeat Act, which bans abortions after roughly 6 weeks. The Supreme Court has declined to block the law, saying it's a question for lower courts. And of course, as always, any of the abortion laws or the topic of abortion starts up a firestorm of controversy and arguments and debate and people losing their minds. So in October, October brought the welcome news that the World Health Organization had endorsed the first vaccine against malaria. You thought I was going to say COVID, didn't you? I thought I was going to say COVID. But the world's first vaccine against malaria. How about that? Interesting. In November, the Atlanta Braves won the fourth World Series, defeating the Houston Astros 4-2. Yet another thing that I was blissfully mostly unaware of because I stopped watching national or professional sports pretty much back when they started taking a knee. That was it, and not being held accountable for it. So that was the end of that for me. But I'm not part of the cancel culture, so I didn't tell anybody else that they shouldn't watch it. I just simply stopped watching it because it offended me. So what did I do? What do I do? What do most of us normal, rational, sane people do when something offends or bothers us? We stop participating in it or partaking in it or consuming it, whatever the case may be. And that is what I did. I just simply stopped. And I hope someday, we were a big football family. Sundays were a big deal for us back in the day, watching football. Loved it. Every Sunday during football season was a big event. Food out all day long and company coming through. It was kind of like an open door policy. It didn't matter what team you rooted for, you wore your jersey over, you had friendly competition, and it was just such a great time. And so disappointing that they ruined it for us with their wokeness and didn't just. Here's my thing with that. Another soapbox moment. Gosh, should I get my pardon my preach intro out again? But the thing with that, and I think a lot of you can agree or will agree or do agree that it's the hypocrisy for me. So if you're not going to allow um, players to wear memorandum shoes or sneakers or cleats, whatever they are, for the five, just for an example, for the 5 Dallas officers that were slain in the line of duty a few years back. Those Dallas players were denied. They requested to wear something to commemorate, something to honor those fallen officers, and it was denied. So if you're going to deny that, but you're going to allow your players to make political statements, essentially, or social consciousness statements, um, there's the hypocrisy. So it's either no to all of it or yes to all of it, but you don't pick and choose. So ultimately, my opinion on it is you're paid to play a freaking game. Get your ass out there, play the game, earn your money, your astronomical, ridiculous, stupid amount of money for playing a game. But whatever, that's the world we live in. That's how we value things. So go do that. And if you want to have your special causes off the field on your time, knock yourself out. I don't really care what you do off the field. I mean, as long as you're not, killing anybody or hurting anybody, do whatever the hell you want. It's not my problem, none of my business. But don't bring it out on the field. And unfortunately, that's exactly what they did. Every sport, everything, every television show, every single thing that you can think of, they brought their politics into it. When all we really want to do is we want to watch a damn game. That's it, right? If you disagree, tell me. I want to know if you disagree. In December, we already got to December. I flew through these, didn't I? Can you tell that I'm dying to get back into that house, to that baby? Yeah. You forgive me, though, right? You understand. You saw her. You understand. Let's see. In December, tornadoes ripped through the South and Midwest, killing at least 91 people. Yes, that obviously just happened, and that was shocking and devastating and very, very tragic. And then, of course, throughout all of this, we have been still dealing with COVID. This is day what, 800, 900,000 in the 15 days to stop the spread. And it's just a constant, nonstop sometimes low key, sometimes screaming, blaring shit show. This is the word of the day, I think. I think I've said that like 3 times now. I'm going to go back and count how many times I said shit show. There it is again. Um, the thing is, I think we can all agree we are tired. We are so tired of hearing about COVID, thinking about COVID, dealing with COVID, worrying about COVID. Um, and it's not to minimize the actual loss of life, the people who have died, the people who have suffered, the families that have been affected and missing out on time. And that is our greatest commodity that we have: time, time, time. And the older you get, the more you understand the value and importance of time. I feel it. I turned 50 this year. That was exciting and also anticlimactic. It was like, okay, I feel exactly the same. I actually feel better than usual. Sorry, there's like truck noises going on out here. We had a nice little lull where we just had the bird sound, but now we have the sound of a truck, and I do apologize, but it is what it is. I mean, it made me lose track of what I was saying and everything, for God's sake. So yeah, so not minimizing anything that it has gone on, all the bad and negative things that have gone on for people. But the simple fact is we're just exhausted from it and we're ready to move on with life. And I really hope, I really hope that the people who have lived in fear of this, like to the point where they have shut down life and given up their time with loved ones and friends and simply enjoying life, I do hope that they are sick of this.
Coming together to share our lives, standing on a thin blue line, giving you some peace of mind. On the Blue Family Unity Show.
Thanks for listening to the show. We'll see you next time on Blue Family Unity with Elsa Kurt. And remember, united we thrive. The Blue Family Unity Show was created, written, and produced by Elsa Kurt. Music written and produced by Dan Tracy.